Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 125. I'm Fred.
And I'm Daphne.
And today we are ready to get into what might be the single most important physical move in the entire AI computation race right now.
It's a huge one. And before we jump in, a big thanks to our producer, Curt Robbins, for flagging this. It's a really important story.
It really is.
So today we're breaking down content from a recent CNBC YouTube video. It's called No Nvidia Chips Needed. Amazon's new AI data center for Anthropic is truly massive.
That title really gets to the heart of it. Our mission here is to examine Amazon's astonishing $11 billion bet in Indiana.
Right.
A project built entirely for their key partner, the OpenAI competitor, Anthropic. We really need to get into why they went with custom chips instead of Nvidia and, what this huge build-out means.
This is an amazing case study. The speed, the scale, the strategy, it's all there.
Okay, let's start with the speed. The project's code name was Project Rainier, and the timeline is it's surreal.
It really is. A little over a year ago, this spot in New Carroll, Indiana, was just quiet farmland.
Cornfields.
Exactly, cornfields.
Yeah.
And now, 7 enormous buildings are already fully operational. They broke ground in September of 2024.
Wow.
And by October 2025, those first 7 buildings were already running AI workloads. That's how fast you have to move in this market.
And that's not even the whole thing, right? That's just phase one.
Not even close. It's just the beginning. They have 2 more campuses already under construction. The final goal is 30 buildings across 1,200 acres.
30 buildings.
Mm-hmm.
This is the largest capital investment in Indiana's history. $11 billion. It's a massive statement.
It is. And the statement is all about breaking their dependency on a single supplier. This is where the story gets really, really interesting.
The non-Nvidia part.
The non-Nvidia part. This is planned to be the largest single cluster of non-Nvidia chips anywhere in the world.
So this is Amazon's own custom silicon we're talking about.
Exactly. Their own homegrown approach. They're pouring everything into their custom Tranium chips. First the Tranium 2 and soon the Tranium 3.
And this whole campus is just for running Anthropic's AI models?
Completely devoted to it. A dedicated, private superhighway for their workloads.
Okay, so let's get into that a little. When we say custom silicon like Tranium, what's the real advantage over just buying a ton of GPUs from Nvidia like everyone else?
That's the key question. So Nvidia's GPUs they're fantastic general-purpose tools. But Tranium is what's called an ASIC. It's an application-specific integrated circuit.
Meaning it's built for one job.
One job and one job only. AI model training and inference. Because it's so specialized, it's way more efficient.
And that efficiency translates to cost savings.
Huge cost savings. Amazon's own CEO, Andy Jassy, has said Tranium 2 offers something like 30 to 40% better price performance than the rival GPU instances.
That's 30 to 40%. That's massive at this scale.
It's a game changer. But, the other huge advantage is just availability.
The supply chain. You don't have to wait in line.
You don't have to wait in that massive, massive line for Nvidia chips. By controlling their own chip design, Amazon can just build.
And they are building, you said 500,000 chips already running?
500,000 Tranium 2s in Indiana right now, and they're jointly expecting to have more than 1 million by the end of this year. They just bypass all the bottlenecks choking their competition.
Which all connects back to their investment in Anthropic. They've put $8 billion into the company. They're not just a cloud provider. They're a hardware partner.
A bespoke hardware partner. They literally developed the next chip, the Tranium 3, with Anthropic to make sure their models run as efficiently as possible. It's total vertical integration.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast. So before the break, we were talking about the speed and the strategic brilliance of Amazon's custom chip play.
Right.
Now let's talk about the other side of that coin. The cost that isn't on the $11 billion price tag. The resource consumption.
And this is where the scale becomes almost hard to comprehend. We're talking about power and water. The final 30-building site is expected to use a staggering 2.2 gigawatts of electricity.
2.2 gigawatts.
Yeah.
I mean, just for context, that's enough power for more than 1 million homes.
It's an industrial load the size of a major city, all concentrated in one small town.
And that kind of demand has to be putting an immense strain on the local grid.
It is. The local utility, Indiana-Michigan Power, expects its peak demand to more than double by 2030, from about 2.8 gigawatts to over 7. That's a fundamental rewiring of the grid just for AI.
And somebody has to pay for that. I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's the local consumers.
Oh, absolutely. One report showed that monthly electricity bills near some of these new data centers are up as much as 267% compared to 5 years ago. This AI race is causing utility prices to spike for everyone.
Which also has to complicate Amazon's environmental pledges, right? Their whole net zero thing. Where does all this new power come from?
That's the problem. The utility there relies heavily on nuclear, which is good, but also coal, about 35% coal.
Okay.
They had a big coal plant that was supposed to close in 2028. But now, because of this AI demand, there's a lot of talk that they might have to delay that retirement.
So AI could be keeping coal plants open longer.
It's a real possibility. And to meet the immediate need, the utility is buying new gas-based generation, fossil fuels. It really makes Amazon's 2040 net zero goal a lot more complicated.
And that brings us to the local trade-offs, the community. I mean, the tax breaks to land this project must have been enormous.
Gargantuan. The county gave them over $4 billion in tax exemptions over 35 years.
$4 billion.
And then the state kicked in another $4 billion over 50 years. So that's $8 billion in local and state tax breaks.
$8 billion. And in exchange, the community gets what? I mean, they lose farmland, the local roads are strained.
Very strained. You have 4,000 construction workers driving on a small local highway every single day. To their credit, Amazon is paying for some upgrades. About $7 million for road improvements and another $114 million for things like water treatment. But yeah, residents are worried.
About the water, I imagine.
Millions of gallons of water and the long-term impact on wetlands and aquifers. But here's the real contrast.
The jobs.
The jobs. The project created 9,000 temporary construction jobs, which is great, but the permanent workforce for all 30 of those buildings.
Yeah.
Just 1,000 long-term positions.
1,000 jobs for an $11 billion investment and all that strain on local resources.
Yeah.
That's a tough trade-off.
It's a very tough trade-off.
So what does this aggressive move mean for the bigger competitive picture? We know Amazon is all in on this for Anthropic, but is Anthropic all in on Amazon?
No, and that's a really key point. Anthropic is playing the field. They know compute is a global race.
So they're not putting all their eggs in the Tranium basket.
Not at all. In fact, they recently announced their biggest deal ever with Google for access to up to 1 million of Google's TPUs.
1 million TPUs.
Yeah.
So they're using Google, the leader in custom ASICs, at the same time they're using Amazon's dedicated campus.
Exactly. It just shows you the sheer, insatiable hunger for compute power in this industry. Even with Amazon building them a private $11 billion playground, it's still not enough. They need everything they can get.
And all this spending, this intense physical build-out, it makes a lot of people nervous. Are we in an AI bubble?
It's a valid concern. But Amazon's leaders, they feel their investments are real, they're tangible, they sort of point to what they call speculative investments from others.
Like the trillion-dollar deals OpenAI announced.
Exactly. Their question is, where's the power source for that? Where's the actual physical data center? Amazon is putting steel in the ground right now.
The infrastructure has to come before the computation.
And that's really the final takeaway for you, the professional watching all this. This relentless building, it is not going to stop. The only thing that could stop it is a major economic crash, and that's not on the horizon.
So the advantage goes to whoever controls the hardware.
The ones who control the whole stack, the chips, the buildings, the power. It gives them a massive edge on cost and, crucially, on availability. It lets their partners, like Anthropic, scale like nobody else.
Which brings us to a final thought. Amazon is innovating this entire physical infrastructure stack, and they're planning for it to last decades. So the question for you is, how quickly are you adapting your own professional skill stack to match the pace of this foundational build-out? Because that ground floor is what makes everything else in AI possible.
Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.